Welcome to the Cellercise program for tonight. We are grateful to have you involved. Thank you for sharing our program with others. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the difference you're making in the lives of other people. If there's anything I can do to help, if there's any questions that you may have, please write the questions in. Justice is behind the camera, so to speak, and he will relay some of those questions to us. The purpose of these meetings is to support you in your fitness goals and objectives. So if you're not reaching them, if you feel like you need some more support, please, ask us how we can be of help. I'm going to talk a little bit tonight about my story and how Cellercise began and what I've been doing for the last 35 years in helping to reignite and promote this industry. Some of the stories that have really made a difference in my life and the lives of those that we've had a chance to work with. And we'll answer some questions and share some customer reviews. And Justice had some jokes. Yeah. I'll let you put your password in. He found some cute jokes that we're going to read. And we want to use Justice more, so.
You told me to find them.
He's blaming it on me. Oh. Yeah, that's all right. Okay. Patient says, "Doctor, are the test results ready yet? I'm dying of curiosity." Doctor, not only from curiosity. Oh, okay. All right. Another one. "What did the banana say to the nurse?" "I'm here to see the doctor. I am not peeling well." Oh, Justice frowns. Okay, this is the best one. "Why did the Dalmatian go to the eye doctor?" I know you got this. He kept seeing spots. Thank you, Justice. All right. So let's read some reviews. And I want to thank you for sharing these. Again, they're making a difference in the lives of those who have a chance. Every week, people call in, "Thank you for reading this customer review from this person or about this." So please, if you have a review, if you have any comments, they are so welcomed, and they really make a difference. And that's what we're all here to do, is be a difference and make a difference. Reviews. Allie says, "I've had my Cellerciser for 1.5 years. I use it about 5 days a week, 30 minutes a day. It's like it's still brand new. Seriously, one of the best purchases I ever made. Worth every penny. I was thinking about getting a bungee cord model when I started looking into it. I can't speak on the bungee cord because I've never tried one. But if I had to do it all over again, I would still go with the Cellerciser, hands down." 5 exclamation points. All right, Allie, thank you. We know the Cellerciser works. And that's just it, it works. Maria writes, "We ordered ours on April 2nd, 2025. My husband and I have been using the Cellerciser for about 2 weeks, for at least 3 times a week, except for the first week. I felt so good that I was on it daily. I used to ask my 100-pound daughter to sit on my back to relieve the pain. I also see my chiropractor once every 3 months for my back pain or when my neck and back pain bothers me so much. After using my Cellerciser for 3 consecutive days, 10 to 45 minutes a day," wow, that's a lot to start with, "my lower back pain completely disappeared." I got to comment on that because I went through that myself. I was rolling out of bed sideways when I first started Cellercising because I had a bad back, probably from a high school injury. And it wasn't until I started Cellercising that it just freed it. It opened it up. There are specific movements that we can do to help as well. But thank you, Maria. And then she goes on to write, "I also noticed that I walk differently and my glutes are actually working when I walk now. My premenstrual symptoms also disappeared. I used to be so bloated 1 to 2 weeks before my period, painful chest area, mood swings, impatient, short fuse, increased cravings for sweets, and would eat anything that I could get my hands on. I noticed that when I stopped using it for 2 days, my lower back pain slowly came back. I went on it for 10 minutes this morning, and a few hours afterwards, I stretched by twisting my body to the left and right a few times, and I heard my back snap. Then the pain was gone. And there's reasons for that. We get a lot of pressure on the discs, and the joint settling, gravity is always pulling down. We start to move up and down. We are weightless weight. And the lymph system and the circulatory system working collectively together are pumping very efficiently. All the cells are expanding and contracting as well. So we're able to get more circulation between the vertebral joints to the disc through the movement and the pumping and the circulatory, or the increased circulation. And then when we do certain things and movements, it's looser. The tendons, the muscles, the ligaments, they're more flexible because every cell membrane is flexing. And so that increases our flexibility. And I've noticed the same thing. I stretched by twisting my body. Okay, I heard a snap thing. I believe the Cellerciser helped loosen my muscles and align my spine. I'm so thankful for this little workout machine. It feels great not feeling any more back pain. Thank you so much for making and sharing this little miracle worker. Thank you, Maria. And if you ever have any questions, you notice anything, feel free to give me a call. The Cellerciser has been very helpful at exposing imbalances or weaknesses within the body. It's very gentle though. So it's not like a typical exercise where you can strain and tear or jar the body. It's much more forgiving, but it's still very helpful at identifying weak areas and then working on those weak areas. We do different movements to strengthen those areas. Anything happening, Justice? Trish writes, hey Dave, love the Cellisoles. These are the Cellisoles. Order the black ones first and just place an order for the white ones. Can they be washed? I'm like you, I wear them everywhere now. They feel so great on my feet and also make it easier for me on the Cellerciser. I'm excited to try the white ones, and I am sure I will love them too. Thank you, Dave, for all you do for us and for always being there for us. No one does business the way you do. And for you to take your time to talk to us on the phone as long as we need is priceless. May the Lord bless you richly. He sure has blessed us by having you and the Cellerciser in our lives. Oh, and the minerals too. I love those as well. Oh, wow, Trish. Thank you so much. That was very kind of you. And yes, I wear these, really, I wear them everywhere. They've got a really nice rubber support on them that goes over the whole sole of the foot. And then we actually, on the sock portion of it, it comes up a little higher on the ankle than some of the other brands. Okay. Questions? Gisela writes, aloha. I'm curious, how do your springs hold up to the salt air? Living on the island, everything metal rusts extremely fast, even in the house, as we keep our windows open 90% of the time for airflow. Gisela, I'll tell you, the springs will rust when it's exposed to corrosion. The steel will rust, but they still work. If you want to spray them with a little oil on the ends of the springs, it'll help prevent it. But I have one of our customers who owns a beach in California. He's very well off. And I saw his unit, and he leaves it outside. He bounces on it all the time. And I saw it, and it looked like something out of Pirates of the Caribbean. It was just encrusted over with all kinds of stuff, and yet it worked. He loved it. He used it. The mat was fine. I mean, the springs, they were fine. they still work great, which is a big plus because that environment can be really harsh. But and the frame was fine. He used everything. Everything was good. The rubber feet were great. They don't deteriorate like other rubber feet do. The sun doesn't bother it. It's UV resistant. The spring, except for the spring cover, that you can replace or just take it off. He took his off. And he's continued to use it for years and years. Gosh, he's been with me probably over 25 years. And we have people that have boats and they take it out on the boat as well. Now, in our case, I have a unit that's been outside now for over 19 years. And it's been in the sun. It has no covering. It's out there by the barbecue in the sun, the rain, the snow every year. Get it, over a foot of snow on it. We still use it. I'll go out there and if I'm barbecuing, I bounce on it and look over the valley while I'm bouncing up and down. The paint oxidized. There's no rust on it. We don't have any corrosion in the air. High desert. The springs look brand new. They've been out there for 19 years. They look brand new. They've got a beautiful anneal finish on it. So as long as there's no corrosion, these things last for years. And if there is corrosion, they still last for years. So hopefully that's a long-winded answer to your question. But yes, they hold up really, really well. Okay. How long did it take to build your muscle? That's going to be part of the story. So let me share that story with you in a moment. How do the shoes differ from the whitin shoes? Okay, the whitin shoes, I don't have my old pair here. The whitin shoes, very similar. That's what led me down that path. They're great. Those are great shoes. We try to be competitive with the whitin shoes. I think we have a little bit more rubber on the bottom and on the heel, and then the actual sock material, I think, comes up it does. It comes up a little bit more around the ankle just to give it a little additional support. But other than that, they're both great. They're great, great shoes. I think that the Cellisoles, well, we build them to be a little bit better, a little hardier, but it's like splitting hairs. They're both very good. Can the Cellisoles be worn outside? What do you think, Justice? Of course. Absolutely. I wear them everywhere. Go hiking in them, go climbing on with them, shopping, driving. I mean, I wear them all day long. They're like a moccasin or a second skin. I call them a second skin because they just hug your feet and they just move with you. So there's no restriction, which is one of the reasons I like them for the Cellerciser. Which model is the travel one? The Cellerciser travel model is a trifold, and the bifold, they both travel. The bifold you would hold over your shoulder and just hold underneath, and the trifold has a pull-out handle with wheels, so you can travel with it. And I take this with me in the overhead luggage bin of commercial airlines when I travel. So when I put it up, I'll just stick it in the luggage bin like this. And then when it's time to get it, I grab the handle and I just pull it straight out. And my unit's been all around the world with me. Okay, so we're gonna have a shorter session tonight unless there's questions. But what I want to do is tell you a little bit about the story of how I got involved in this, because it's not something I was expecting or planning on doing. I've always liked helping people. I felt like I was doing that when I had my SMI franchise, when I had when I was involved with the insurance business. I did property management, and I studied vocal performance in the opera department at Cal State University, Fullerton. And I never expected to do this. I ended up getting a little double chin, a little stomach. When I was an insurance agent, average looking insurance agent. I wasn't horrible, but I wanted to get into better shape. And so I decided, all right, I'm going to take the stairwell up to the 16th floor in Fashion Island, Newport Beach, California, Costa Mesa area. And so I started taking the stairs. Now I'd be in a suit and tie coat, and I'm huffing and puffing, and I'm climbing up the stairs. Well, unbeknownst to me, the company was removing asbestos, and I hadn't been notified. We didn't know they were going to be doing that. And so one day, while I was doing it, and turn this off. One day when I was doing it, I was huffing and puffing and breathing real hard. And I came by one of the rooms, I think it was like the 15th floor, and they were doing asbestos removal. They had all the plastics hanging down, and I just figured they were painting. Didn't think anything of it. So I'm huffing and puffing and I'm breathing. Oh, and they left the door to the stairwell open. So I'm huffing and breathing. I passed the 15th floor. I looked to my right or my left, and I could see all the plastics hanging down. And I'm huffing and puffing. I get up to our floor, go to the office, and my partner had taken the elevator up, so he was already there. And when I got there, I started shaking uncontrollably. There was a chair right next to the door. So I sat down in that chair, and I could see my hands and my arms and everything just shaking. And I thought maybe I'd overdone it. And then the next day, I woke up, and it felt like the right side of my body had all tightened up, like a real tight net all over this area. It just all tightened up. And I didn't feel too good. So, very well. So I went and I took a shower and tried to loosen that area up. And when I stretched my arm, I felt like I was tearing tissue inside my body if I were to stretch too far. Well, over the course of the next several days, my lymph nodes grew in size. Over the next several months, my skin color changed. I had large lesions coming out of my shoulders, my neck, and my face. I was an insurance agent doing, meeting with people, and these lesions would come out, and they'd stay there for weeks. And the doctors told me later, they thought it was probably the asbestos dust trying to get through your body to get out, because your liver was a mess, which it was. My skin color had all changed. I had 2 children, a third on the way, and I didn't feel like I'd be around much longer. So I did a lot of praying. And then I had a dream, a vision. And I'll go into that in my book. But I had one of the people who came to a support group meeting that I held once a week. And there's a lot more to this story, but I'm giving you kind of a synopsis of it. Had a boyfriend. They brought the boyfriend to our program, and they shared with me the mini trampoline. Well, at the time, I was looking for something to improve my immune system, because it was not doing I just didn't feel good. And I thought, well, I need to try this, because if I can get the lymph system pumping, maybe, because I didn't know what was wrong. I still didn't know what was wrong at the time. Sorry about that. We don't have a meter on the batteries, so we don't know how long they go for. But, all right, so after teaching the Rotary clubs, and then the Kiwanis, and then the Lions clubs, and then senior citizens clubs, and I was getting booked all over Orange County and the surrounding areas of California. And we were doing okay in the insurance business. But I woke up saying, I feel more fulfilled in sharing what my rebounding program was doing for people than I was in selling insurance. So I asked myself one day, why am I selling insurance? And I took it out on the road. And then I started to do door to door. I literally went door to door. I created a whole wellness program, which I call Cellology, the 7 steps toward optimum health. And that's a whole program that I was using on myself to get healthy again. And it was being well received. I created a whole program for it. But the Cellercise started taking up, or it wasn't Cellercise yet. It was a soft bounce rebounder with the larger. Okay, so I left a part out. So I've been jumping on this for a period of time. It kept hurting my back. So I found a company that I solicited to create a tapered spring design. Larger diameter in the middle, taper on the end, barrel-shaped spring. Early 90s, started teaching with that. It didn't hurt my back. My back started getting better. And that was based more upon NASA's research anyway. You want to create G forces, but not a jarring effect. You need resistance to build up muscle mass and bone density, not too soft. In other words, just sink and your cell doesn't perceive a need to strengthen its membrane. But not too hard, because the jarring effect shatters the nervous system and puts too much of an impact. And the impact was what permanently disabled my dad in 1995. So he was trying to do my exercises on a typical rebounder, put a bone fragment through a nerve in his lower back. And it was the same year that Dr. Morton Walker, one of my customers, wrote an article in the Townsend Letter for Doctors, warning doctors to avoid those units. He said the abrupt jarring effect was the same as landing on the floor. So a huge difference from that compared to what I had come up with on the tapered spring design. So I started traveling around teaching people the benefits and doing trade shows and speaking at different events eventually. And everybody starts coming out, when a lot of people started coming out with tapered spring designs, and they look the same. You see them all over Amazon today. And the problem was the quality of the steel. If the steel is too soft on a tapered spring, all you do is sink. And it didn't give enough lift or enough resistance, so you weren't going to get a benefit. So I had to separate myself further from the industry. So I created the Cellerciser, and then the name, we don't just exercise, we Cellercise. We exercise at the cellular level. And that became our trademark, Cellercise. And we don't limit the effect, it's on every single cell. And so then, to separate ourselves further from the industry, I created the Tridaptable spring, which uses patented technology. We patented the technology, has a larger diameter in the middle, it has a ridge just before it tapers, and then another ridge where it tapers again. And those ridges help to focus the weight toward the center of the spring, which is what we want. That's what most people are going to use. But if you weigh more, or you're jumping higher and you need to slow down, then it graduates from the one section to the next section and so on and so forth. The objective is to prevent you from bottoming out. You slow down and then you speed up. And that's what created the pumping action and on the body, which is what we did with Cellercise. So it was a health reason for my personal health that led me down the path to create a unit that would work for me, that wouldn't hurt my back. And in the process of that, I started working with doctors and health practitioners and universities and medical authorities. And I would share with them some of the benefits that our customers were receiving, and they would share with me why they believed they were receiving those benefits. And I started studying more about human anatomy and how the lymphatic system worked and how the circulatory system worked and how the valves work and how the proprioception works and the brain activities and coordination and various different issues. If we want to strengthen, if we have knee problems, hip problems, back problems, shoulder problems, what can we do? Because I've had all of that. What can we do, and ankle problems, to strengthen the supporting muscles and ligaments around the joint, and would it really work? And it did. And so I started sharing that with athletic departments and military personnel and SWAT teams and fire departments and police departments and people that had to re-qualify in training. And then I started working with celebrities and well-known doctors, and it became a journey for me. And so in the process of working with and speaking with noble men and women, really good people, which was a real honor for me, I became Mr. Rebounder. So that's my nickname. And you can find our app on mrrebounder.com. But the purpose was to help, and always has been, to help people who are being challenged in their physical health reach their greater health potential. That's how I got started. And I've never lost that vision. The purpose, the reason I'm here tonight, is not to sell a Cellerciser. I talk about that occasionally, yes, because for a couple reasons. One, it works, and I don't want people getting hurt on an inferior unit. But the other reason is because I want you to understand the difference in the units. But the overall objective is, what can we do to help you? Yes, Justice.
Kelly says, this may sound like a dumb question. Can rebounding cause facial sagging?
No, just the opposite. Can rebounding, well, it depends on the kind of unit you use. On a yeah, that's a good point. That's a great question. Normally, rebounding would be, it helps to lift, tighten, and tone the skin, the collagen, the fascia, because it becomes more resistant to the weight. But if you have a unit that's too soft and you're bouncing up and down, then yeah, it can cause the body, everything to drop. Here's why. And you've heard me share this, but this is a message that really does need to get out to people. Bouncing on trampolines is fun. Big trampolines, and I would say bungee cord units, they're fun, but they emulate the big trampolines, which are, the purpose is for tricks. You jump up in the air, you do a trick. And you come down, and you jump up in the air, you do a trick. But there's not enough resistance. And if there's not enough resistance, if it's too soft, then the cell expands, but without resistance, it's great for a massage, I suppose, but it's not going to have enough resistance to cause the cell to fortify its membrane with more protein because it doesn't perceive the need to. You have to have the resistance on the cell membrane to cause the cell to want to fortify its membrane with more protein so it doesn't rupture. But if you don't have enough resistance, then everything is settling more. You get more and more pressure on bones and joints and the lymph system and everything. Gravity's winning out. We want to resist gravity. The way to resist gravity is through resistance movements, weight-bearing exercises. If you don't have enough weight-bearing or resistance, your cells don't get stronger. So skin cells, collagen, those are protein fibers. Fascia, that's working from the inside out. When we're cellercising, we weigh quite a bit more at the bottom of the bounce. And that increase of weight, you can feel on your muscles a lot when you're bouncing up and down. That's a lot of weight on these muscles. You can feel it. Grab the stomach muscles, dig in. You'll feel it. So the cell membranes are expanding and contracting, and the message is being sent to them, hey, we don't want to rupture. We need to strengthen our cell membrane, become more resistant to the weight. That helps to lift, tighten, and tone from the inside out. Lady wrote me a beautiful review. I think I've shared it with you. She said, David, as I was hitting midlife, I felt like everything was headed south. Now that I've been cellercising, I feel like everything's headed north again. There's a lot of truth to that. It's when the body gets weak or there's not enough resistance, gravity wins. When you put the body under more weight, it becomes more resistant to the weight. And that's one of the advantages of Cellercise. Any other questions, Justice? All right. If there's no other questions, we're going to end tonight. But that's how I got started. It's been an incredible journey. There's a lot more to it. Yes, I've got to get the book done where I will share stories and about how I came up with some of the different movements, and you've heard me do it before, like they're all stories. I was led down these different paths for a reason. When my lungs were all clogged up with paint fumes and I didn't like that, or dust, I came up with and you hear it in my voice when I'm done doing this, but there's so much to share. The other 1/3 of the lung that most people don't get enough oxygen to, and so we do the power breathing, and it opens up bronchial tubes and lungs over time. It strengthens them, and they become much more clear and stronger without having to do a lot of long distance running or swimming, and that's okay. A lot of us don't have time for that. But that simple technique that goes, and it feels so good, and you hear the difference in my voice. It opens up the larynx, it opens up diaphragmatic breathing. It's great if you're a radio announcer or a singer, because it just opens things up. Now, when you first start to do it, you may sound a little wheezy, and that's not unusual. You're exercising the lungs without going out and doing a lot of long distance running or swimming, and that frees them. Well, there's a whole story behind how I came up with that, and nobody had done it. There's a whole group of stories about people that have had weak lung conditions for any number of reasons that have been able to use that to strengthen their lungs again. So again, if you have a medical condition, consult with a doctor, a health practitioner, but be sure to share with them the program. I'm more than happy to talk to doctors. I do it all the time. Doctors are the ones who have taught me. And I've worked with lots of different types of doctors to create the Cellercise program. A lot of the movements that you find in the Mr. Rebounder app, I came up through physical therapists and health practitioners, and what we can do to improve the mobility of the shoulders or the back, or strengthen the supporting muscle ligaments in the hips or the knees. So again, it's just been a journey of discovery and working with well over 100,000 people in developing these techniques and getting the feedback from you as to what's working or what isn't working. So there's a lot to it. I think, as many people tell me even today, that every home should have one of these. Every home should have one of these. I really believe that. It's got, it does so much for people of all ages. And so that's why I keep doing it, because I've got people that began with me in their 70s, they're well into their 90s now, and they're still enjoying life. So we don't have to limit ourselves. It's got a lot of potential. So feel free to call, write, ask questions. Please share the program with others. Now you know a little bit more about how I got started in this. The journey that I went through to get to this position is fascinating, though, and that we will get available in my book. So thank you. Thanks for joining us tonight. Again, a shorter session. If you haven't tried the Mr. Rebounder app, you might want to consider it. It's on sale right now. We've got a new website for Mr. Rebounder coming out any day, and that will give you more information about how that app works, so that you can be watching a television show and doing routine, getting the benefits and enjoying the show. And I'm probably going to go do that right now. So have a great week. Let me know if I can be of any help. If you have any particular routine that's your favorite, let us know. If you'd like to work on something more specific, please let us know, so that we can focus this program on your needs and your interests. Thank you. God bless. Have a great weekend or great week, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.